Hello and welcome to livealittlehigher.com. We continue learning Pirkei Avot, Ethics of the Fathers, and we're in chapter 6, Mishna 1, in which I've been dividing it per classes because it's a very long Mishna. And it basically, Rabbi Meir is talking about Torah scholars. So today he says, from him people enjoy counsel and wisdom, understanding and strength, as it said. Mine are counsel and wisdom, I am understanding, mine is strength. So Rabbi Twersky, in his book, Visions of Our Fathers, he says that in the olden days, people would go to the rabbi for everything. And they would not make one decision in their lives without consulting first with the rabbi. Like, rabbis were put in a very, very high esteem. They were very respected. And they were people who learned all day, Lishma Torah, and their whole purpose in life was to help people live the best lives they could have. Today, sadly, we don't use the expertise of the rabbi so much. We go with other methods because people don't really want to be inconvenienced. But in the olden days, people were searching to grow and be better. Today also we're searching and looking to be better, but we look in other directions that are more comfortable for us, in which we don't have to make so many changes in our lives. So he says here that there's a story of a rabbi that resigned from a community. And when they ask him, why are you leaving? The president of the community asked him, why are you leaving, Rabbi? What's the problem here? And the rabbi looked at him and says, you know what, in 5 years that I've been working in this community, this is the first time someone comes and asks me a question. And that's why I'm leaving. So we see here that we really don't take rabbis for what they really are. And the primary function of a rabbi should be to teach Torah and to instruct people in spiritual issues. This is the job of a rabbi, is to teach his congregation Torah, enlighten them and help them grow, and help them resolve their spiritual flaws, and be able to help them refine themselves. So once a Hasidic rabbi remarked, people often ask me whether they should buy a house or if they should undertake a business venture. And it's very funny because I'm not a realtor and I have no idea about business, and they come to ask me for this. So what do? I give them a blessing. So today, people go to the rabbis for brachas, go for blessings. And the Mishna states that the Torah scholar is a resource of counsel and wisdom. And we should exploit this resource to improve the spiritual aspects of our lives. This is the true sense of a rabbi. So when it says here that mine are counsel and wisdom, what it's telling us is that the qualities enumerated by this Mishnah are not characteristics of just anyone with Torah knowledge. It's not just a person that learns Torah, but it most importantly is a person that learns Torah lishma, for the sake of heaven, that he learns with no agenda, no personal agenda. He learns to be connected to the source, to be connected to Hashem, so he can have the right mindset, the right answer, that he should be enlightened to help people go in the correct ways. And that's why when we choose a rabbi, it has to be a rabbi that is humble, that he has your best interest at heart, that he really is not looking to gain anything from you, but he's really looking that you grow and that you become a better Jew. So there's a story here that Rabbi Twersky says that when he's a psychiatrist, and once this lady came to him that she had postpartum depression, and she came to him, she was a religious woman, and she came to him and he prescribed her a drug, the special drug for that, and he sent her to he referred her to another psychiatrist that lived around her area, and she was feeling much better. But she was scared that the medicine that she was taking if she would get pregnant again, would be bad for her new pregnancy. And so she needed a shiloh, she needed a rabbi to give her good to go, that she could wait a few years before she got pregnant again. So Rabbi Twersky found a rabbi, he gave her the authorization, everything, but it happened to be that a few months later the husband called him back and he said that his wife was pregnant again. And he was concerned that she might suffer the same relapse that was very severe of depression as when she had her first baby. So Rabbi Twersky called at that moment. It was the posek, the one that gave a pask on halacha. It was Rabbi Moshe Feinstein. He was a very, very big rabbi, of blessed memory, and he called him with the problem of this lady, of what should she do, that if she should continue with this pregnancy, if it constituted a problem to her health. So Rabbi Moshe Feinstein asked Rabbi Twersky, suppose that she were a Rockefeller, like a very rich woman, and imagine that she could afford adequate help, and that she had someone that could care for her children, and the household duties, and the house would be clean and everything would be in order, and would she still be at risk? So Rabbi Twersky said to him, he said, is the risk the stress that the pregnancy causes to her, or is the risk the lack of money? And only a rabbi can look things, a wise rabbi can look things from this angle. So the Rabbi Twersky says, I think it's the situation, her economic situation is the one that really is creating all this problem in her life. So Rabbi Moshe Feinstein said, well, then it's not the pregnancy the problem. The problem here is the lack of money. And I tell the husband that I am going to raise money for them, and I'm going to make sure that she has all the help that she needs. And I will also prevail on her husband to spend more time in the house and helping with the chores of the house, and helping his wife and being a support system to her. So we see from here that a person that has Torah knowledge, a person that is wise, a person that is learned, gains his knowledge, his wisdom, his chokhmah, his ability to give counsel to a person, not because of his intelligence, but because of the Torah he learns. So there are many, many anecdotes about Torah personalities who, when their advice was sought, would study a portion of the Torah. Like before a person would come to ask for advice, they would sit down and learn some Torah before they would give a response. And this was the customary practice of Rabbi Haim of Voloshin. In other words, it was not just that having a Torah mindset enabled them to counsel wisely. They realized that the Torah was an actual source of wisdom. So it's not voodoo. It's not like you teach Torah and then you're enlightened. No. It's because you're learning Torah, and the Torah is the truth, is the met of Hashem, is the wisdom of God. And you're learning Torah, then you're able to give counsel in a wise way. So when Rabbi Haim, the tzaddik of Sanz, was 10 years old, his father took him to visit the seer of Lublin, who was a very big rabbi. And the seer had a great affection for this little boy, and he used to come a lot to him, and he would tell him like when he grew up he would become a very big Torah personality. And this little boy, he saw that many people used to come to the seer to ask for counsel, and he saw one day that the rabbi, the seer, closed the door of his study, and this little boy, he hid himself in one of the closets to look at what this rabbi was gonna do. And he saw that he closed the door of the study, and he noticed that the seer paced to and fro, and he was reciting Mishnas by heart. The Mishna, this is what we're learning, is a Mishna. So by heart he was reciting Mishnas. And the seer then opened the closet and brought the young Haim out of his hiding place. He knew he was hiding there. And he said to him very, very lovingly, "You see, Haimke," the seer said, "please, people come to ask me for advice, and counsel, and I counsel them correctly. How can I counsel them correctly? How can I give them good counsel? And the Midrash says that the original light of creation was one that enabled a person to see from one end of the world to the next, to the other end of the world. This was the original light of creation. And God concealed this light. He concealed it because he felt that the world was not ready for this light, and because mankind was undeserving of it. And where did he conceal this light? And in the Torah. He says in the Torah. So when one studies Torah properly, one can gain great insights as a result of this powerful light. So after we learn from this, we see the power that the Torah has in our lives. Like if we are people of the book, Jewish people are people of the book, and we learn and we sit, and you know what? We're in the month of Elul. Take one book that you enjoy. One can be the Pirkei Avot. It can be the Humash. It can be, there's so many books. And you can sit every day and learn one little thing every day, 5 minutes. Give it 5 minutes a day of learning Torah. And you're going to see how you're going to change. Your insight is going to change. And so your way of expressing to the world is going to change. So we see here that the Torah, when one studies Torah in a right way, and properly, lishma, for the sake of heaven, one gains great insights as a result of this powerful light. And so he says, he finished off telling the young Haim, the seer, he told him, after I had given advice to a number of people, I felt that I had depleted my capacity of insights, and that's why I needed to renew myself, and that's why I closed the door and I started reciting the Mishnas by heart, because in this way I was infused again with the light of Torah, and I was again able to give counsel to other people. So you will one day be a great leader, he said to him, and remember what I told you, the seer said. So there are numerous accounts of incidents of great Torah scholars, Torah personalities, that appear to be due to superhuman wisdom. You would think they have superhuman wisdom. You think these are like people from another place, from another planet. And they regularly denied that they were divinely inspired. Rather, these were the result of being enlightened by the Torah study, something which they felt was within everybody's reach. So these rabbis are so humble that they tell you that their strength, their wisdom, their counsel doesn't come from them. It comes from the light of the Torah. And yes, this is indeed achievable for everybody. However, one must meet the qualifications stated by this Mishnah, that one must study Torah lishma. When we learn Torah, it has to be for the sake of heaven. It cannot have an agenda, personal agenda. It has to be only for God. And when you do this to honor Hashem, to bring joy to Hashem, because this is what He wants you to do, He will give you the light of Torah to be able to help other people around you. So I leave you here. I wish you a blessed week. And remember, live a little higher. Thank you.